Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is October 12th, and this is your aftermarket update. All right, so we've had a nice 2-week run here at the Oil Trading Group. In fact, we've had only one day in this 2-week window that we've not been positive. However, the previous 2 days have been a challenge, to say the least. I made a video for you yesterday. You could see here on the YouTube channel yesterday's video. I was down ticks heading into our trade of the day. Today I was down ticks heading into two really nice trades. You're going to get to see both of those here today. One on the ES, which was almost, it's 5.5 points. We're going to talk about how we just missed out on having a really monster trade on the ES. And then we had a 65 tick trade on the CL that missed being a 100 tick trade. So again, and I tell you that to say that we had the volatility has been such in the market here over the course of the last 2 days that it's really been a little bit of a challenge, right? Getting into the trades, having them sweep you out, having it chop and bounce around and do some things like that has made it somewhat, like I said, of a difficult time. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit here about the CL trade, then I'll talk to you about the ES trade. And then we'll go from there. Actually, I may talk to you first about the ES trade. Anyway, I had reduced, one of the things that we talked about in the room today is talked about reducing the risk heading into today's session from 2 lots down to 1 lot, just simply because of the increased volatility makes it difficult, right? And these bars, we talked yesterday about the fact that these ES bars were 18 and 19 points in length. Today they weren't quite that bad, but they were still very large bars. So if you have a 2-point stop or a 10-tick stop like we accustomed to on the CL, then you could get chopped around really quickly when the market is bouncing around. So before I go into the particular trades here, I'm going to show you the trade review stats for the day here. Basically, you can see we finished up about 26 ticks. We won 41% of our trades. We had 5 losing trades, 1 scratch trade, and then 5 of these trades were winning trades. The largest gain today was 660, and that was the CL trade here. And then you divide that by 220. That is a 3-to-1 winning trade largest gain greater than largest loss. And again, we were holding on to our winning trades about 4 times longer than our losing trades. So we're putting this idea of cut the losers short, let the winners run, holding on to the trades longer, and that kind of thing that we always talk about. All right, let's talk about a little bit about the ES here today. We were fairly convinced when we made the high in the overnight session, and we couldn't get any higher after the open, that we were going to be looking to make it down into settlement today. If you take a look at your profile chart, one of the things that we spoke about, settlement is down here, and what you can't really tell from this particular profile, but 100% of the overnight volume, in fact, just pretend like these periods really down here below settlement don't exist, because when we signed on this morning, they didn't exist. 100% of the profile was above settlement. And so one of two things happen. You either just move away very quickly through the top of the profile and you just continue to go, or the market has a tendency to come back and test into the prior day settlement. And that is what we were looking for today when the market rallied up into the overnight high. We got into the open. This is right after the open here. That's the bar at 835. We could not make a new high. We couldn't challenge these highs. We couldn't get to our daily structure signal. And so we began to look to try and get short to carry this thing down to settlement. And so I got bounced around right in this area just a little bit. If you look at these bars here at the open, this was 27.59.5 to 66.25. So again, and this bar here, as an example, was 64.75 to 72. So these are 7 and 8 point ES bars. And if you're familiar with trading the ES, you know that those are big bars. And so we were having a little bit of a difficult time around this 65 half area. Once we do finally get in to this 65 area, you're going to hear me talk about the target being just below this 59, 58 area. But really what you don't get to hear is me talking about the fact that we thought we could come all the way down into the structure target, right? That's the way these levels work. And so we had an idea that the market was going to be short because we could not pull away through the high after the open. We know that the market spent 100% of the time above settlement in the overnight session, which on your profile tends to tell you that the market's going to come down to test settlement. Settlement, by the way, today was right here at this, where is this here? Let me just pull this up here and see if I can get the, well, let's do it this way. Settlement today was 27.45 half, right? And so we had this good idea that we should come down and test settlement, and we were looking to maybe come down into this target. What ends up happening is I get in here at right around 65, and I get pulled out. It's right in this area here, and then I get pulled out for 5.5 points on this little pullback up into 61.5 before the market comes all the way back to the downside. So again, it ended up being a 5.5 point ES trade. I was down 5.75 points. So on the day on the ES when I got into that trade. So really what you're going to see is when I get popped out, it takes me out for, I really was into the day down a single tick on the ES. If you were in with us yesterday, you saw that we had a 14.5 point ES trade times 2 lots. And that market ended up going a lot further as well. And so these wild swings, while you're trying to protect profit, and that's what we were trying to do, which I got stopped out at a -1 tick total on the day. Again, when you're trying to manage through these wild swings, sometimes you got to put your stop somewhere. And that is the way that it's worked out the last couple of days. But we were able to get all of the, basically recoup everything that we had lost on the ES initially back on a single trade, where we ended up hitting it pretty good today and ended up with this bigger trade is here on the CL. So again, the market opens up right up here at your daily structure signal, and we were looking for the market to come down today. So where I was getting chopped up and beat up, I wasn't really trusting this opening scenario today. But again, same thing here. If you look at your profile, and again, 100%, not 100%, but about 98% of the market in the overnight session was above settlement. And the same idea, if we could not go back up and test, let me do it this way, right? After the open, we could not come back up and test the previous day's high. And so again, we were really looking for a move back down into settlement, which was today at 97. And so when the market opens up at the structure signal and begins this sell-off, we were looking to get short in this area, and it was right around this 25.26 where I spent a lot of time getting shaken in and out of the trade. In fact, it rallied up into what we call our sweet spot retracement, which is this, as identified by this red line up here at 67. This is where you're going to see us get short. Market comes down. My stop was above this double top high. And again, we got fortunate that it just came back up here one last time before you got the big flush. Now, we were in at 67, and we were looking to target down through this 25.26, settlement at 97. And if you were in the trade room with us today, you know that we were looking to target to that 70.65. And we said if it broke down through that, we would be looking to come all the way down into the daily structure signal, which was all the way down here around 0.0. That's really where we were trying to get to. We talked about adding to the position below this structure signal. It comes back up right here. Let's see. Comes back up right in this area here. So we make this low. We come back up into 11. I get trail stopped out for 65 ticks before I'd get that final roll over here for what would have been about 100 ticks. And I think that when we made it down here, I would have taken that off down there, given the fact that that was right around 12 noon when the Baker Hughes rig count report. But as it was, we ended up coming down here and grabbing a 65 tick CL trade. The rationale again was just like it was on the ES. Most of the overnight session had been spent above settlement. We could not make a new high here after the open. We found resistance at our structure signal. We have an idea that if it can't make it to the level above, it'll come down to the level below. I got chopped up right here a little bit, and you'll see that on the price ladder. I think I was down 48 ticks on the CL when I ended up getting into this sweet spot retracement trade. Again, this is the sweet spot retracement that we measure, and it was our idea that we were going to be coming down into settlement. We get in here, we put up with a little bit of heat for about 15-20 minutes, and then the market flushes out all the way to what would have been what we were looking for as a potential target down here at 65. So again, despite the fact that we had these choppy trades in the beginning of this session today, we always talk about this in the trade room. It just takes one trade to be able to get to our targets, to be able to cover any losses. Now, what would be ideal is if you only took one trade at 165 ticks and we're all happy and it's one lot or two lots and it's all happy. But trading isn't like that, right? Trading is a series of probes and trying to figure out what the market's trying to tell us. And we go through that sometimes, and you're going to have some losses when you are taking stops or small stops along the path. These things happen. That's part of trading, but that's why you have to manage your reward to risk as aggressively as we try to do in here on a day in and day out basis. We're 8 out of 9 positive days over the last 2 trading weeks. We did have a holiday this week, which is not why we don't have 10 trading days. And again, we are pretty happy with the way that the month of October is going so far. So what I've done here is I've taken the CL trade that shows the big target. I've taken the ES trade that shows the big target and put them both on the video here. I show you where we get in. I cut it down. I put some music behind it, speed up the tape. So I think the CL trade lasted today. We got in up here around 10:20, and we got taken out up here at 11:20. So it was just a little over an hour. So I don't make you watch the whole thing. But again, put some music behind it, speed it up so you can kind of get a good sense of what happened with the trade. Also, pay attention to the top of the price ladders. The top of the price ladders is where you're going to see where I was negative on the day heading into these trades. So again, these trades did not put me up over 100 ticks today. Like I said, I made 26 ticks, but they did pull me out of the ditch, and that's really what you're looking for when you're struggling on a given day, to get that 1 or 2 trades to get you out of the hole and into the positive. So without further ado, here are those OTG trades of the day. You know what? We're going to go short right here at 68.67. The stop here will be 81. $64.75. I'm in short on the ES. Stop is 67.75. Target is below 56.